Hello everybody, once again, welcome to WOOGIES Corner. Got my friend Hippie here. He's the tour guide. He tells us which direction we're going to go in because
I'm the driver.
He's
I'm the tour guide.
He's the driver. And because it's flat, we can't tell. Look at the sun, I guess. Anyway, we're off to Corpus Christi.
Corpus Christi area.
And we're going to go and look at the museum, World War II ship, the USS Lexington. I'm excited about that, folks. I love those World War II ships. They're just massive, they're big, they're bad. And that's what we're going to do. I think we'll visit some more relatives while we're down that way. So this is going to be a fun trip. So stay tuned for that one. Are we done?
Yes, we're done.
Good. We're
good.
All
Thumbs
right.
up.
Yeah, here we are walking up to the USS Lexington Museum on the Bay. This is one of a number of warships that are been turned into museum ships around the U.S. Well, they even got a shuttle down here at the bottom of the ramp, and so we're gonna take a ride on up the ramp onto the deck of the USS Lexington. This is pretty exciting. I love these old warships. I've been on the Missouri once back in 1981 before they took it out of mothballs at Bremerton and hauled it down to Long Beach, California and reactivated it for Desert Storm, I think. That's where it ended up. Anyway, then now that same ship is in museum ship in Honolulu. Pearl Harbor, actually. Boy, I tell you, you don't realize just how big these ships are until you get up close to one. They are massive. Yeah. Okay, we're standing out on the entrance. I suspect this is one of the aircraft elevators from the flight deck, or from the hangar deck, which is ahead of us there, up to the flight deck, which is up there. So we're standing on one of the aircraft elevators. So anyway, here it is, folks. And as far as I know, this ship is still floating. It's not grounded or anything like that. It's sitting in the water. But my goodness, look at the complexity of this thing. Tell you what we're going to do. We're going to step over here and we're going to read something. Let's see, on the aft side of the island, you see a Japanese rising sun flag with a black border. This flag indicates the exact location where on November 4th, 1944, a Japanese kamikaze plane, codenamed Zeke, crashed into the U.S. Lexington, killing 49 crew and injuring 132. This attack can be seen on the video, which is played on the tour route. So, can you imagine looking up and seeing a kamikaze Japanese plane coming at you, knowing you may only have seconds to live? So you can see where it landed. A Japanese plane guided by a pilot who volunteered in World War II to make a suicidal crash attack upon a ship. So these planes would do 170 to 190 mile an hour. A diagonal attack, probably hitting close to 250 mile an hour. It looks to be up on the superstructure up there. Amazing. Well, here we are on the hangar deck of the Lexington. Hi, Hippie. Hi, Melody. Deanna. Say hi. You might be famous someday.
Hola, ¿qué tal?
Hangar deck of the Lexington. My goodness. Where do you start here? This would be a Douglas SBD-3 Dauntless Invader dive bomber, basically. One of the original forward-firing 50 caliber machine guns from that type of aircraft. And the rear guns were 38 caliber, 30 caliber. And you see those perforated flaps in the back of the wing of the aircraft. They were dive brakes. Basically, they would put them down to kind of slow the aircraft down and stabilize it when they're in a dive so they don't get going too fast. But they were known to make some noise, like the German version of this was a Stuka. And it used to make purposely designed to make a screaming sound as it was diving, much to the horror of the guys on the ground. The Dauntless, I don't know whether they made that kind of a sound or not, but I think they did make a sound. Anyway, this was one of the main World War II aircraft that they used to use on this ship. The SBD-3 Dauntless. Kind of an interesting painting back on the back wall. And up above us, there is the flight deck. There's some original parts here from this particular aircraft, I take it. This almost looks like a Stearman to me. I'm not sure what this. Apparently we have a photo op going on here. So while you're busy taking pictures of us, I'm going to take pictures of you.
Dan, I'm not going to be able to do it, I'm telling you.
Gee
It's not a matter
whiz.
of can, it's just I can't hold it still.
Would you hurry up and take the darn picture, please?
Where are you going to go to?
We're wasting film here.
He's gonna go over there, yeah.
Or then don't I need to get right here?
Okay. Boy,
And so then I just need to move it to the right just a little bit.
I've never seen so much inconvenience in
Okay.
my life.
Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3. Look.
Yeah, well, enough already. Okay.
Come here, Melanie.
Yeah. What are you taking, a video or are you taking a picture?
Picture. The hard way.
Oh, I see, the hard way.
Okay. No. I'm
I
just
don't know. Well, while they're busy taking pictures, I'm going to still look around here. I don't know what that thing is over there. Okay.
See? Now I'm in it.
Well, that's an amazing picture. Yes. That's very good. Okay, what do we got here? I was going to say a Stearman, but I bet you I'm wrong. Let's see. What is this thing? It says N3N Yellow Peril. Okay. So I guess they used to put it on floats. Wheels, of course. What do we got? It's a trainer, and it's a yeah. Look at that big old radial engine. Probably a 9-cylinder, I suspect. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-cylinder. Sorry. But you know, back in the day, that would be, if you're a farm boy from Iowa and you joined the Air Force and you came across something like this and you got to sit in the cockpit and learn how to fly this thing, you'd think that you died and went to heaven. Well, we're still on the flight deck and everybody knows what this is. This is a world famous Jeep. It's been said that they couldn't have won the war without it. I kind of tend to agree with that. These things were amazing. And they built thousands and thousands of them. Willie's Jeep. No, I don't know what the heck this thing is. Let's see. It says it's a SBD-3 Dauntless. What is it? It's just a model, I guess, of the Dauntless aircraft. Maybe some kind of a... I'm not sure. Maybe a kid's toy or something. And now we're the USS Lexington brig. So if you are a badass, good chance that you're going to end up in there. All kinds of really cool artifacts. Apparently we have another photo shoot coming up. And this is where we get to be on stage. So are we lining up for a firing squad here, or what are we doing?
No, you have to stay down there.
Okay, I got told I got to stay down here.
Who's moving?
I have no idea why.
Oh, okay.
And this better not take too long. Well, hurry up. Oh man, I'll tell you, we got all kinds of cool stuff here. Now this would be, well, it's a jet engine is what it is. A J-35 jet. For a Thunderjet built in 1946. So this must have been one of the first U.S. jets. And wow, that's quite a chunk of engineering. Over here, it looks like another Dauntless dive bomber, I think. Let's take a look. I may be wrong on that. Yeah, there's the T6 Texan, they call it, the S&J. It was a kind of a multi-purpose trainer, and I think they actually use it as a two-pilot trainer. I don't know whether it actually saw it in combat. Yeah, it was basically a trainer. They went from the T-34 trainer up to this, and this would train the pilots basically to jump in the Wildcats and the Corsairs and some of the high-powered fighter aircraft of the day. But there was a lot of these planes built. They were sort of one of the workhorses of the U.S. Air Force. Once again, folks, take a look at the size of this hangar deck. It's just really big. And here we are. We are out on the flight deck, folks, of the USS Lexington. Now just picture yourselves, we're out in the South Pacific, and we got lookouts all over the place looking for Japanese aircraft and Japanese fleet movements. Ship is slightly rolling in the breeze. Picture a whole bunch of fighter aircraft all lined up here. Flight operations are going to begin within the hour. The enemy has been sighted. This would be a 5-inch 38 caliber mount, I think, that they used to use on these. 38 caliber, yes, that's what he said, wasn't it? Yeah, it's a 5-inch 38 caliber gun. This was one of the most useful guns of World War II. Just about every warship from destroyer escorts up had a number of these things aboard. You can see the armor on the front of them here. These were a multi-purpose gun. They could use them for shore bombardment because they had a range of about 5 or 6 miles. And you could use them for repel boarders and for capturing small vessels, and then they used them mainly for anti-aircraft, believe it or not. 5-inch gun for anti-aircraft seems a little bit like an overkill, but they would shoot a explosive shell. So all they had needed to do was get the shell in the vicinity of the aircraft. The shell would explode, and the splinters from the shell would bring down the aircraft. Now up above there you see those 2 protrusions. Those are called a rangefinder, and they extended pretty well right through. I think on both sides had them. Yeah, this side's got one for sure. And these were the last ditch effort. Like, supposing your bridge got shot to hell up there, and your command post and your inboard targeting crew and apparatus got shot to hell, you could still aim these guns with these right there. The gun captain inside this turret could still aim it and fire it. But generally they were remote controlled from the bridge area. Guys in the Combat Information Center. In fact, oh, look at this. Oh, this is cool, folks. We get to walk up this little ladder, and we're going to actually go in this thing. Ah, very cool. Aha. We're going to step in the door. A 5-inch 38 caliber naval gun. Whoa. You can hear that going off in the background. That's pretty cool. This has been well restored. Very well done. These things were fairly rapid fire. Down here, in the hole you see here, this is where they used to take the empty cartridges, which are right here. And then when they got ejected out of the bore, they would toss them down these holes. Then they had the shell list, which was right here, going from the lower magazine rooms down below, and they were constantly bringing shells up. And so you'd have maybe, I don't know, 8 or 10 guys in here, and everybody had a spot and everybody had a job, and they'd be pulling shells out of here and then dropping them down into the magazine here, and in she'd go, and then you had your aimers, and I tell you, it was quite a deal. You can see some of the turning mechanism down there, and then some of the gearing for the elevation of the gun right there. All this stuff was designed, probably close to 100 years ago, 75 to 100 years ago. There's a bit of a video plan that shows what this thing was like when she was fired. You wouldn't want to be in the receiving end of that, I'll tell you. My goodness. That's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. I've always wanted to go inside one of these things. I've read about them, seen them on all kinds of videos, but I've never seen one. And you look at this engineering, going back into the 20s and 30s, maybe some of it even before that. And they did this, all folks, without computers and all the fancy stuff they've got today. This is old school engineering at its finest. And these particular mounts, these 5-inch 38s, they were very reliable, extremely reliable. Okay, we've left the. I tell you what, they got a pretty interesting little collection of aircraft on this thing. Some of these aircraft were not really carrier planes per se. This was the Buckeye. You don't see many of them around anymore. It was developed in the late 50s as a kind of a main stage, a multi-stage trainer for the U.S. Navy. I don't know whether they were doing carrier training with them or not. Yeah, I guess they were. They were used as initial flight training as well as carrier qualifications. So, and gunnery and bombing training. Yeah. Kind of an interesting little story here. I should actually let the readers, let's take a look at this. During carrier operations in 29th of October of '89, the Buckeye trainer was flown by a student pilot, came in low and slow. Unable to regain control of his plane, it crashed into the aft section of the island. Oh my goodness. 5 people were killed, 19 were injured. This T-2 Buckeye is similar to the plane that crashed. A U.S. Navy film clip of this event can be viewed in the hangar bay 2. Well, I feel sorry for the guys who were flying it. Student pilot misjudged, I guess. I'll tell you what, you can say what you want about all this military stuff, but I mean, you could lose your life real quick with any of this. Anything can go wrong. We tend to forget that in this day and age. Anyway, when they say the island, there means the island. That's the island right there. Now, what the heck that racket is coming from over there, I'm not just too sure. That's supposed to be simulated gunfire or something, I don't know. Now, this here, I think, is a Crusader. I may be wrong. This is one of the bigger of the aircraft carrier planes. Aha! It's a Corsair. Sorry, not a Crusader. A Corsair. It's a Douglas aircraft. It was first commissioned in '67. It was on the carriers over in Vietnam. It's a big airplane. And I would assume it would carry a lot of ordnance and an awful lot of munitions. Yeah, I don't know what the hell that major racket is over there. Trying to decide whether they're working on something or whether they're I don't know. Anyway, it gives you some idea how big these flight decks are on these carriers. And this is not a big carrier compared to the new carriers today. This is a little guy, but it's big enough. It says over there, Beware of jet blasts, propellers, and rotors. Yeah, I would think so. This looks like, I may be wrong, but this looks like an AT-6 trainer. Let's take a look. Maybe I'm wrong. Well, it's an it's an A28B Trojan, which is similar to the Texan AT-6. It's similar to an AT-6. It was designed to replace the AT-6. Okay. There again, bigger plane, more engine, designed to be a trainer for the bigger propeller-driven aircraft, like the Wildcats and the Corsairs, Dauntlesses. That's a nice shape, that thing. Well, here we have, I would suspect this is one of the elevators and the original deck. Oh boy. I think that deck needs a little bit of work, folks. I don't think 3 coats of Varathane is going to do it. So this would be one of the elevators, for sure. So it makes you wonder if they're ever gonna redeck this thing or just leave it. Hard to say. It's all about money. I guess if they can raise enough money, they probably will do it. Oh man, we got all kinds of stuff going on here. Aha, this is the T-34C Turbo Mentor trainer. This has got a turbine in it instead of the regular piston engine. Interesting. There, another shot of the island. And over here is the aft 5-inch 34 caliber gun mount. And just so you know, when they say caliber, what they mean is that it's a 38 caliber. And caliber has to do with the ratio between the length of the barrel breech versus the diameter of the barrel. So, for example, your big 16-inch guns on the big battleships, they're 50 caliber, 16-inch. These are 5-inch, 38 caliber. And some were 38s, 40s, 45s, various calibers over the years. Well, by golly, we're coming up on the end of the flight deck here. This, well, there you go. This is one of the Blue Angels aircraft for the very famous U.S. Navy Blue Angels. You see the pilot's name, pilots and the officer names painted on the fuselage here. Oh yes, the chemical system. No, I don't know. It looks like they've taken that right out. I don't see it here, but these carriers, right up until recently, have all had steam-powered catapults in them, and they went down the length of the flight deck, somewhere around where I'm standing, right down to the. Actually, where the we gotta be on the bow. Yeah. So they would be off to the bow. And they were steam powered and they were powerful. That's the ones you see in the movies all the time. The Top Gun and all that, where they hook on the front nose wheel of that aircraft. It flings that thing into the air, boy, I'll tell you what. They say, pilots say that getting the sensation from a cat shoot is almost better than sex. I guess it's quite a thrill. Well, I think we're just about concluded. We'll take one more look up at the superstructure up there. Superstructure of the famous USS Lexington. So now we're going to, I think we're going to head back. We're going to head back inside. And anyway, we're climbing up through this maze of wiring and plumbing and hatches and Lord knows what. This is the way it was for the sailors aboard the USS Lexington. We're heading up to the bridge, actually. Just couldn't help but notice these guns here. These are 3-inch, 50 caliber. And of course, the 50 caliber means that it's a proportion of the barrel diameter versus the length of the barrel. And that's how they determine caliber. So anyway, these are basically anti-aircraft guns is what they used to use, and these are open mount guns. They were replaced later on with 5-inch, mostly closed mount guns. These had a fairly substantial rate of fire. You can see the breech. Actually, I think something's been welded in here. That looks like that's been blocked right off that breech. But anyway, yeah, there's your basic 53-inch, and then they got another one over here. These came off the Lexington right behind us, actually. Yeah, if you were in an enemy truck column and one of these shells come flying at you, it could ruin your whole day. Well, one final fond glance around the flight deck of the USS Lexington. We're just leaving. We've had a very enjoyable 3 hours or so looking at everything. Quite an amazing vessel when you think it was launched in 1941, commissioned in 1942. Saw massive action during the Second World War, including a major kamikaze attack on the island. Killed about 75 officers and sailors or so. Bad news. And the ship definitely saw service. There's no doubt about it. It's kind of weird, kind of almost eerie to be walking around, you know, in the midst of hamburger stands and everything else, in the midst of a World War II museum like this, memorial and museum, because that's really what it is. And we just finished going down into the engine rooms, and we were up on the bridge, and we've been all over the place here, and Pretty fascinating. So farewell to the Lexington, and I certainly hope it survives for another many decades. Well, folks, I sure hope you enjoyed that episode of the USS Lexington, because we certainly did. I've got a bunch more footage of the engine room and other places that I just don't have time on this episode. But I tell you what, maybe we'll do another episode and I'll show you all that stuff. It is fascinating, trust me. Anyway, hey everybody, thanks a lot for following along on Woogie's Corner on this southern adventure. We've been to, let's see, we left BC, Canada. We went through Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada, Texas, Florida. Yeah, we've been gone about a month and a half. What a great time we've had. So anyway, folks, until the next time, till the next episode comes your way, thanks for watching Woogie's Corner. Thank you. Bye-bye.